We're all set.
All set. All right, folks. This time I'd like to call the June 2nd, 2022 regular meeting of the Common Council City of Plattsburgh order. It's 5:05 p.m. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ms. Carlin, will you please conduct the roll call?
Mayor Rosenquist. Here. Councilor Canales.
Here.
So sorry about that.
Councilor Kelly.
Here.
Councilor Talon. Here. Councilor Bach. Here. Councilor Gibbs and Moore are absent.
All councilors have received a copy of the minutes of the May 19th, 2022 regular meeting. If there are no additions, deletions, or corrections, I'll now entertain a motion to accept the minutes as presented. Motion by Councilor Bach, second by Councilor Kelly. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. I will now recognize those in the audience who wish to share their thoughts and concerns with the council on any topic. Please come to the podium to be acknowledged. When called upon, we ask that you please state your legal name and address for the record. In accordance with the organizational rules of order, all speakers will be given 5 minutes to address the council. Hello, how are you again? Great, I'm doing well. Good to see you.
I'm Steve Krieg from 8 Mason Drive. And I saw the ad in a newspaper article last week about the Durkee Street development. The ad was from the anti-development folks, I guess I would call them, and I'm here to speak the pro-development side. I hope you will look carefully at that, and I hope you will vote for development. I'm not sure it was how you were going to help with in court, since there is a problem, I guess, with the environmental impact of the development. But it's interesting that the group that brought the lawsuit, that wasn't even one of the things they were going around talking about to people. It tended to be other things that they were pushing. And all of those things were basically thrown out by the judge, leaving the environmental problem, which certainly I would like to see fixed. I don't want to see a problem from the environmental impact, but I would like to see development. I'd like to see people going out downtown, eating in restaurants, buying things in stores, going to grocery stores, little stores on the corner, buying milk and eggs and things that they want, because that'll help everybody, regardless of whether they have a business that they think is in competition with the new business or not. And so I hope you'll look carefully and look at development as a good thing for the city. Now, the big thing they pushed that I kept hearing about was parking. We should be so lucky to have a downtown that's so popular that people have trouble finding parking, okay? If you go to any city, any place where there's a vibrant downtown, you'll find people have problems parking, and those are problems that we can work on and solve. But if we don't have development, we don't have people down here, we don't have money to solve problems. So let's hope that we get that done. Okay.
Thanks, sir. Anyone else who'd like to speak to council on any topic? Yes, please.
Good evening.
Hello.
My name is Laura Palkovic. I live at 21 Champlain Street, and I'm going to present the other side of the podium. But this is a proposal that the city delay implementing the kiosk paid parking system. The system was proposed to mitigate the problems of parking spaces that will be lost if the Prime building is constructed. If Prime is approved, ground will probably not be broken for 2 or more years. Court cases and city boards deliberate carefully and slowly. The Special Assessment District has a history of working. The kiosk system does not have a history of working. A metered system was tried in the 1970s, but abandoned when the malls were built in the town of Plattsburgh. Since then, the threat of online shopping has superseded the competition from the malls. We do not have to repeat the errors of the past. We need to make downtown attractive to the public, not limit spaces with paid parking. Metered parking does not create wealth. It controls access when there is overwhelming parking demand. Like Placid and Burlington, because of the density of retail stores and other downtown businesses, are examples of cities needing metered parking to control spaces for fair public access. If one or more national chains were to locate in downtown Plattsburgh, that could reasonably be expected to create demand that cannot be supported by existing parking spaces and thereby justify paid parking. The Prime building by itself does not create consumer demand in the city. It takes up parking spaces for use by a gated community. While Prime says it will create spaces for retail shops at its building site, spaces are worth nothing until they are filled and the businesses are shown to be successful, thereby attracting sufficient traffic. Don't put the cart before the horse. If the Prime project goes through, and that is not a certainty at this point, wait and see if the retail space is rented and the businesses become established. The kiosk system, metered system, is assumed by the city government to provide increased access, but will actually limit business activity downtown. There are many problems with the proposed paid parking system. Some of them are the kiosk system will make on-street parking at a minimum because everyone will try to park on the street to avoid the fees in the parking lots. It is likely that customers of downtown shops and restaurants will regularly choose more accessible businesses in the town of Plattsburgh where there are no parking fees. Renters of downtown apartments who rely on the Durkee Street lot for parking will eventually move out of the city core to find more affordable rents without added parking fees. Downtown business owners will have to decide if they will pay parking fees for their employees or expect them to pay for the parking fees themselves. In one example, Warren Tire will have to pay $10,000 per year in parking fees for its 30 employees, according to owner Jennifer Boyer. Customers will experience new difficulties if the parking kiosk system is installed. In one example, customers of the North Country Food Co-op will likely have to carry their heavy food purchases longer distances to their cars. The north end of the Durkee Street parking lot will not be available the way it is now. If the Prime building is not constructed, there will be plenty of parking available in downtown Plattsburgh. Because the kiosk system was developed to compensate for the loss of spaces to Prime, there is no reason to initiate paid parking now. Even if the kiosks are now held in a warehouse, they have some value if returned. But if cemented into the ground and then jackhammered out and the system proves a failure, will the city have any plan for recouping its investment? And I'm reading this from my husband, Tim, who wanted to be here and read it, but he's too sick. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Tim, as well. Anyone else who would like to address the council on the topic, please?
Evening, my
Hello.
name is Ingrid Joy. I live on 2037 Military Turnpike in Plattsburgh. Can you all hear me okay? This room kind of swallows up sound. I wanted to address, I'm kind of piggybacking on this lovely lady's about charging for parking, and also I'm not going into the Prime project, but I do understand the concept behind this idea, but I also want to present the other side. I do believe that the council genuinely wants to bring as much business to the downtown area, but I feel that charging to park is actually counterproductive. In the last 2 years, many businesses all over the country have struggled, and Plattsburgh is absolutely no exception. Parking in any city is challenging, both in finding available spaces and finding something near to where you're shopping. With malls and restaurants competing for business with places on the other end of the city that have huge parking lots with free parking, people often will choose the easier option. People who own or work at businesses in the downtown Plattsburgh area are most likely feeling penalized for choosing to have stores in that area. I'm sure that's not the intention of the council, but that's what it must surely feel like. I actually represent Elmore SPCA because we have a shop called Rescue Treasures on 37 Clinton Street, and it's one of our big sources of revenue. Everyone that works there is a volunteer, and some of them have mobility issues. The shop is open 5 hours a day, 6 days a week. If they either have to move their car every 2 hours to avoid paying fees, or park farther away, or pay for a permit, it makes their job harder. Again, please remember, they are volunteers and they are working for a nonprofit that serves the North Country extremely well, if I do say so myself. Add to that the fact that shoppers and donors already face challenges in finding places to park in a small but busy city. Isn't it a better idea to make more and making more revenue and getting more people to shop downtown, which will in turn bring in more sales tax revenue, making the city a welcoming place for both business owners and customers by keeping things simpler and affordable seems like a win-win situation. We hope you'll reconsider your decision. Thank you. And by the way, I am parked at for the Prime. I am actually parked at the farmer's market to allow for people with poor mobility to be able to park right nearby. That's my contribution to the rights.
Anyone else who'd like to speak to council on any topic? No fighting in the city.
I have a bullhorn voice. My name is Patricia Blanchard. I do not need a microphone. You are Jamie, fellow sitting here.
Jimmy Canales, yes.
Okay, you're my word guy. Okay?
Awesome.
Please listen to me. We are about within the next month, so the first week of July, you'll probably really see what's gonna happen. We're about to have a homeless boom here of professionals who cannot afford to live in this city. Sir Jamie, I will come to 39 McGully. Come get me. I'll walk you around to talk to the people who are about to be homeless. Please walk around your ward. Go to Salvation Army. Talk to the people on those lines. I'll introduce you. I have no problem doing that. All right, last week I would have been screaming and I had really very sarcastic things to say to everybody, and I'm not going to, because this is a serious problem. We are losing nurses who cannot afford to live here. I personally know a teacher who has asked relatives in other areas, help me get a job. I can't afford. I can't afford my rent. They raised my rent and I'm a teacher. I can't work here. We have nurses coming from other areas to help us. We're losing nurses. They're moving out of the area. They can't afford the rent increases they're getting. We are gonna have homeless children. And who's going to be removing these people? Those guys that everybody's really pissed. I'm sorry about my language, but the country is mad at the police. And you are going to put the police here in charge of moving people in these tent cities who are actually working. They're working people we are gonna lose. Because they told their children, we're camping, and a police officer walks up and goes, we can't have you here. Now he's the bad guy in their head. And that's what's happening in this whole country. We're just finding it out. And it's not your fault as a city council. It's the fault of all those city councils before who refuse to believe there is a homeless problem here. All they did was say, oh, there's no homeless problem. Police officers go remove that tent city, go take those people out of the parking lot. We thought we're camping and they're not. That's what was done. You guys can do something different. I don't hold office. And I found out there's a National Homeless Law Center. I can give you the phone number and the address, and they will help the city. They will explain to you how other cities in New York State are doing this. They are decriminalizing homelessness. That's a simple thing. These people had a series of unfortunate events that led up to this day. They do not need a fine for not having a home because they can't afford to live here. Decriminalize sleeping in a vehicle if you are not on drugs or drinking alcohol. Now you're gonna put meters in. Those meters are gonna cost less for people than a hotel here. And they'll be sleeping in their car, paying a meter and going to work. That's some people's plans. And you can lift restrictions on charities who want to help. There are restrictions. Oh, you don't meet this criteria, you're not old enough, you're not young enough, you're not whatever. You can lift those restrictions so a charity can say, here, we have someone has a house who will allow you to stay there. And you aren't making a homeless shelter, you are making an abode for people who can, so that they can then go on and get something somewhere. But you're gonna lose your essential workers here. You're going to lose nurses, teachers, and other professionals here because they are about to be homeless or are homeless. The cheapest room anybody can get here comes to about $525 a week, that's $2,000 a month. Our hotels are full of people who are willing to pay $2,000 a month with everything included because they can't afford the rents. What do you want your legacy to be? I mean, we all hear the whole thing. A great person is somebody who plants a tree they do not sit in the shade of. They know they never will. Maybe your legacy can be to your future children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, whoever those relatives are, that you set something up now to help them if they're ever in this situation. Because every one of you can have a series of misfortunate events that leads you to this. Every single one of us in this room. All it takes is a broken leg and a car breaking down and somebody else, the furnace blows, bam. And you are in that situation. Please, please acknowledge we have homeless here and don't just send the police to move them because that does not solve homelessness. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Anyone else who'd like to speak on to the council on any topic? Hi, John.
Well, thank you. My name is Joan Jansen. That's a hard act to follow. And part of what I can link in with what's just been said is the fact that Plattsburgh is not a wealthy city. And if we were a wealthy city, we might not have a problem with paid parking. And let me start off by saying that I know that what we have right now is not free parking, it's subsidized parking. I get that. And what we're going to get is not paid parking, but rather on the street, free for 2 hours. And then if you go into a lot, you have to pay for it. So we'll call it zoned parking with permits but for the sake of making things easier, I'm just going to call it free parking and paid parking. Right now, I don't understand this. You have traded guaranteed income for a possible deficit. The Special Assessment District brings in $70,000 every year. You can use that for clearing out snow. You can use it for maintenance. And you've traded it for a system of a possible deficit that won't bring in anything. It won't even clear its money. As a taxpayer, I resent your decision to change because that's going to cost me. And both taxpayers and users are going to end up paying for this. People hate to pay for parking. You ought to know that. Free parking spaces are going to be way harder to come by. And likely people are going to come into the downtown area, drive around and around and around looking for a free space. And when they can't find it, they're going to say, well, I guess I won't do that again. If that happens, it hurts small businesses. It hurts downtown residents. People come here to shop. They go to restaurants. and chances are businesses are going to close. And businesses can choose to leave downtown. They can move out. I don't need to remind the council that there are other places available for rent outside of the downtown area. There are places outside of the city and the town of Plattsburgh where businesses can go. And if businesses choose to flee, what are the chances that we're going to get any new businesses to come to downtown? Probably not. So once businesses leave and residents find it expensive because now they have to pay a parking permit to be downtown, we're going to end up with derelict buildings. And when we do, we're in the process of creating slums. Why do I care? I don't live downtown. What difference does it make to me? I'm fortunate enough to have a house, 29 Cogan Avenue, and I do volunteer work downtown. And just as Inger said, I come in, I work for free. Do I want to pay to park while I'm working for free? No, I don't. I visit the library. I take out books for free. Do I want to pay to come visit the library? No, I don't. I think the plan for paid parking is undemocratic. Most of you count yourselves as Democrats. I think it's an elitist strategy that will cost the taxpayers and hurt the residents who can least afford to pay for it. What I am suggesting is that you press the pause button and halt the rollout of the paid parking plan. Place the kiosks in a warehouse, examine the policy for sending them back, for canceling it. If they go back to the manufacturer, undoubtedly there will be a restocking fee, there might be a penalty fee, but I suggest to you that these fees in the long run are better for residents, they're better for taxpayers, for visitors, and quite frankly, for those of you who are elected by the public, it might be better for the council as well. Thank you.
Thanks, Sean. Anyone else who'd like to speak to the council on any topic?
My name is David Yelton. I'm 15 McComb Street. Like Patricia said, I think we challenge you guys to go out and meet some of these homeless people and see why some of them are really on the streets. And it will shock you, because I was one of those people that was homeless 27 years ago. And I met a couple of nice ones that we just did a free clothing day Sunday, where we had well over 300 people show up. And I met quite a few of the homeless people. And the person refused to tell me where they're camping. I asked where you guys at, like, where you guys have food and stuff. They go, I can't tell you, sir, because the cops will come and have us removed again. And that's sad. That we need, like Patricia said, we need to find a way that will help these guys out. Okay, it's like we said, people voted you guys in, they can vote you guys out. And put you, no, this is, you guys should, your heart should be into this. This is your guys' community. This is where I live. And we put our time and effort to help everybody out best we can. But when I see a homeless person like that, like we're talking, I had to move a family out of their apartment because they couldn't afford the rent. And we had to put the little girl stuff in storage and she's sitting there crying. Maybe you guys come with me one day because I'm getting ready to do another family next week that just lost their apartment because the rent is too high and they got 3 kids. And you guys can see what it's like for these kids crying and stuff. You guys say it's not your guys' control. It's a lot of it's with taxes being too high or something. There is stuff that you guys can do if you guys open your eyes and put your heart into this. Thank you.
Anyone else to address the council on any topic? Seeing none, we'll now move on to the committee reports. Each standing committee is chaired by a councilor, and I will now call upon the chairperson of each committee, starting with City Operations Council.
Nothing to report at this time.
Finance and Economic Development, our next meeting is next Thursday, and that is going to be held here at 5 p.m. No report from City Infrastructure, Councilor Canales, Public Safety.
Nothing to report at this time, Mayor.
We'll now move on to liaison reports, Plattsburgh Public Library, Councilor Town.
I actually do have something to report today. Our last meeting was canceled because there wasn't enough people to make a quorum, but I was emailed some things to report today. The roof replacement project is nearing completion, so we're happy about that. They are gearing up for their summer reading program. And also the Friends of the Library will be attending each one of the city park events with children's activities.
Awesome. There's no report from MLD. Mr. Sneller, any reports?
No reports.
I'm submitting the 2022 tree report from the building inspector's office for council. for council consideration. I have had some notes which will be passed on to building inspector in the coming days. I'll now entertain a motion to approve the payrolls of various city departments for the weeks ending June 1st, 2022, in the amount of $532,748.94. Motion by Councilor Bob, second. Second by Councilor Talon. Roll call.
Counselor Canales,
Yes.
Counselor Kelly,
Yes.
Counselor Talon.
Yes.
Counselor Bob.
Yes.
Carried. I now entertain a motion to approve the bills audited by the common council for the week ending June 3rd, 2022, in the amount of $389,781.09. Motion, Councilor Kelly, second by Councilor Bob. Roll call.
Counselor Canales,
Yes.
Counselor Kelly,
Yes.
Counselor Talon.
Yes.
Counselor Bob.
Yes.
Carried. Before voting on the following resolutions, I'll note that these majority of the resolutions have been thoroughly discussed by the appropriate committees and department heads. We're now taking action on these items in large part due to the recommendation of those committees. Ms. Carlin, will you please read the titles of the resolutions to be acted upon?
Item 7.113, authorizing budget transfer, senior planner payroll.
Motion, Counselor Bob, second, Counselor
Motion.
Kelly. Discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Canales,
Yes.
Counselor Kelly,
Yes.
Counselor Talon.
Yes.
Counselor Bob.
Yes.
Carried.
Item 7.114, mayoral appointment, senior planner.
Motion, Counselor Bob. Counselor Canales, roll call.
Counselor Canales,
Yes.
Counselor Kelly,
Yes.
Counselor Talon.
Yes.
Counselor Bob.
Yes.
Carried.
Item 7.115, authorizing range and step adjustment, CDO director.
Motion. Counselor Canales, second.
I'd actually like to make a motion to table this.
I'll second first.
Bring
Second.
bring it to the floor. Thank you. Second by Counselor Talon. Discussion.
I'd like to make a motion to table this for now. I think that this should be something that the whole council should be present to discuss.
Motion on the table. Second by Counselor Talon. Roll call. Sorry, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion to table carried.
Item 7.116, authorizing mayor to sign personal service agreement, building inspector.
Motion. Counselor Bob, second. Counselor Kelly. Discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Canales,
Yes.
Counselor Kelly,
Yes.
Counselor Talon.
Yes.
Counselor Bob.
Yes.
Carried.
Item 7.117, authorized budget adjustment, municipal buildings, janitorial services, city hall.
Motion. Counselor Bob, second. Counselor Canales, discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Canales,
Yes.
Counselor Kelly,
Yes.
Counselor Talon.
Yes.
Counselor Moore. I'm sorry, Counselor Bob.
Yes.
Carried.
Sorry. Item 7.118, authorizing bond issuance to pay for the cost of water system improvements to, in, and for said city.
Motion by Counselor Canales, second by Counselor Bob. Discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Canales,
Yes.
Counselor Kelly,
Yes.
Counselor Talon.
Yes.
Counselor Bob.
Yes.
Carried.
Item 7.119, award of low bid for resurfacing of pickleball courts in South Acres Park.
Motion, Counselor Canales, second by Counselor Kelly. Discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Canales,
Yes.
Counselor Kelly,
Yes.
Counselor Talon,
Yes.
Counselor Bob.
Yes.
Carried.
Item 7.120, award of the construction phase for the New York Road water line replacement project.
Motion by Counselor Kelly, second. Counselor Bob. I will now make a motion to amend this resolution to adjust the numbers. The numbers provided needed to be updated. The total amount is $739,920, which is a slight adjustment upwards of the item or the cost in this resolution.
I'll second.
Second by Canales, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Call the question, number 7.120. Any discussion? Roll call.
Counselor Canales,
Yes.
Counselor Kelly,
Yes.
Counselor Talon,
Yes.
Counselor Bob,
Yes.
Carried. Is there any new business to come before this council? Seeing none, I'll now entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion by Counselor Bob, second. Counselor Canales, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're now.